Hello everyone. So this YouTube channel I have created to share the information and the work experience I have in the AWS Lambda and Python. So this will be the first video onto my channel. So this is like around the AWS Lambda. So in this video we will be discussing what is AWS Lambda and key features, and then after we will discuss use cases like the application where we can use it and how does it works. Then after we will quickly jump over to the console and will run a basic code there and see a simple features, and then after we will summarize it and we'll see what are the next topics we can cover. Okay, so let's start quickly. So what is AWS Lambda? So AWS Lambda is a serverless compute service provided by the AWS. So it allows you to run code without provisioning or managing server. So basically what you can do is like you have just a piece of code and you want to run it. Okay, so AWS Lambda is the best service. What you need to do, you just create a AWS Lambda function and then after type your code there, and then after just click on deploy and then after run it. You don't need to make sure the underlying resources, underlying hardware requirements of that, like it is all managed by the AWS only. So here serverless is a specific key term. So it is not like that it doesn't have server, it has servers, but that servers are managed by the AWS. It like we don't need to do anything for that. Okay, so now let's move to the key features. So key features are like it is event driven. So event driven is like if any specific event occur in your application, then AWS Lambda can be triggered. Okay, so let us suppose a scenario like in your application, if any user uploaded a file to the S3, you want to trigger an AWS Lambda to do any specific task. Okay, the example could be, let's say a user uploaded its profile picture and you have limitation on the application, the size of the profile picture should be less than 1 MB. So what you will do, you will trigger an Lambda which basically checks the size of the image that user has uploaded, and if it is more than 1 MB, then it is going to compress that image by applying some of the algorithms. Okay, so that's an event kind of, right? So that's the event driven. Then after automatic scaling, so automatic scaling is basically, let's say one request is coming onto your application, so it is executed by the AWS Lambda. In the future, if 10 started to come, it like the AWS Lambda self scales up and concurrently executes your request, and then after in the future, let's say 1,000 requests started to come, those 1,000 requests are executed concurrently by the AWS Lambda. So it is not like that we need to manage those servers. For that we need to increase the RAM, memory or anything like that. It is all managed by AWS. Okay, then after pay as you go model. So pay as you go is basically, let's say if you are using an EC2 machine, okay, then from the day one you will be going to pay the complete cost of that EC2 machine, right? It doesn't matter how much you are utilizing, that it is 10% utilized or it is 90% utilized, it will be the same cost. But in case of AWS Lambda, if your Lambda runs today for only just 10 seconds, you will be going to pay the cost for 10 seconds, and if it runs for, let's say, 2 hours, you will be going to pay for 2 hours. So pay as you go. Yeah, so that's it. And then after language support, so AWS Lambda supports many different languages like Node, and then after Python, Java and many other as well. So it has provided custom runtime as well, so that's really a great feature. So that's it. After key features, we have use cases, some of the basic use case like real-time file processing. So we already discussed this, like the profile image one, so we can do that. Web application backend, so let us suppose you have an API server running, API server, so you can host that API server onto the AWS Lambda with the help and expose those APIs with the help of API gateway. Then after data processing, so you can like process the data here and apply some of the transformation if you have. Then after IoT data handling, so obviously let's say you have IoT devices onto your ground and the data is coming and you want to apply some like let's say coupling, or you want to like kind of, you can say like decompress the data or compress the data, anything like that, or decrypt that or encrypt that, so you can do that onto the AWS Lambda. So those are the some common use cases. And then after how it works, so it is really very simple. Just create a Lambda function, write your code. You can like upload your code as well, and you can write inline code in the editor. So you can do that, and then after set trigger. So what you can do, like how you want to execute that lambda, you can set that trigger. So either it is triggered by the S3 event or any other like that way, or it can be triggered from API gateway. Okay, and then after once that event happens in your application, the lambda get executed. So that's how it works. So we will quickly jump over to the console. So here it's the console. So let's you run code without thinking about the server. So you can click on this to create a function, I think. Then after, like, the languages it supports net, .NET, Go, Java, Node.js, Python, Ruby, and custom runtime as well. So the interesting is pricing and cost. So if you see, the first 1 million requests per month is free, and 400k GB second per month is free. So if you are a startup or any other like a small business you are running, and you want to have a small application, so that application might be possible, like it will be free for you. So you can give it a try definitely. So I think, yeah, that's it. Let's quickly click on create a function. So there are three options, I think: author from scratch, use a blueprint, container. Author from scratch, like you have your own code, you want to run that, you can do this. Use a blueprint. So AWS out of the box provides some like blueprint, like so example is create a microservice that interacts with the DynamoDB table. So it's a database interaction code will be automatically written there, and you can test that. Cat S3 object, so you want to download any file, so that is, I think, use a blueprint. Then after container image, so let us suppose you have a Docker image and you want to run that on AWS Lambda, so you can use this method. So like first we will author from scratch. So I think test lambda. Then after runtime we will be going to use Python. Architecture we will keep same, and all other like settings we will be keeping default. And then after create functions. It is taking time. I think might be not more than 20 seconds. Yeah, so it's now have been created. So now if you scroll down a little, so we will definitely discuss about those triggers, destination, layers, and throttle, copier, and actions. So we will discuss this, but first let's come to this code section. So basic code is already written there, like it is importing JSON. Then after there is a method called lambda handler. Then after it says 2D implement, so you can write your custom logic, and then after return something. So let us suppose for the 2D implement, I write here a print statement, just quickly a print statement. Hello from, my bad, I am inside AWS Lambda method body. So that's it. Hello from Lambda, I am cool boy. So that's it. So I have just like changed a little bit to, like, just to confirm those changes are like updated. So what you will do, it says changes has not been deployed. So you will just click on deploy button. Okay, so now in the production, what you will do, this lambda function will be triggered by an event, obviously. Like it will be either triggered by an S3 event, or maybe an API gateway, or maybe any other way. But for the just development purpose, how you can test it, you can click on this test. So for testing this, you need to create a new event. What you will do, create a test event. It only supports like space is not supported. So type of event is like private or share. Private is like it is only accessible to you. Shareable is like other IAM users can also access this. So event JSON is key 1, value 1, key 2, value 2. So it is like a custom information you want to provide it to the AWS Lambda. Okay, so let's say you have created a Lambda like which gets executed when someone uploads an S3 file to the S3. So when this like Lambda started to execute, it will receive some of the information from the AWS only, like this S3 location, this S3 file name, this is the type, or here is the file location, right? So you can pass those information here as well, just for the testing purpose. Okay, so I will save this. I will click on test, and then after it says test event response. Hello from Lambda, I am cool boy, the one we have written it here. And so anything written in the written statement we will get in the response, and anything we have written in the, like, just as a normal print statement, we will be getting out in the function logs only. So function logs have a start, request id, the print statements, then after end request id, and some of the information like how much duration it takes to execute, what is the build duration, and what is the memory size, and what is the init duration. So init duration is also an important thing, but we will discuss this in the next video. Just stay tuned for that. Okay, so I think so you have, like, obviously executed your first lambda function. So I think like there are obviously multiple things here, like code, test, monitor as well, configure. There are multiple number of configurations, but yeah, definitely we will discuss those, all the information in the next video. Okay. Okay, thank you, thanks a lot, bye bye. If you have any question or query, you can just post out on the comment.